We are getting new details on the FBI's investigation into Michael Cohen.
Let's get right to CBS News Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues, who's in Washington. Jeff, what is the news that you can tell us?
Well, it looks like there are some changes afoot in terms of Michael Cohen's representation as he battles investigators who are looking into his activities in New York City, in the Southern District of New York. As you know, there was a search of his office, home, hotel room in April 9th to be exact, and that turned up all sorts of potential evidence for investigators, and some of that is being argued about in court right now. But what is happening is there seems to be, according to my reporting and according to Paula Reed's reporting, some changes afoot in his legal strategy. And the question is he preparing to cooperate with investigators, or is he preparing to battle this out in court? Those are really the options that he has, and I've talked to Michael Cohen himself, who has indicated that he is under a tremendous amount of pressure from prosecutors. Now, whether that is something that translates into whether he will cooperate or not, we'll just have to see. He has over and over again in his conversations with me denied that he has done anything wrong, but obviously he is under pressure after the search of his property. And this is someone that, of course, is the president's personal attorney, has become known over the years as the president's fixer. So he is under a great amount of pressure from prosecutors and, frankly, anyone who's covering this story who has reached out to him. He has told me that in the past, but whether that now translates into a stance where he is cooperating with investigators, we'll just have to see. But it appears today that there are changes afoot in terms of his legal strategy in this case going forward.
So, Jeff, you know, this story has really not been in the spotlight for a little bit now, maybe a week or so. We know that there was a raid, that thousands of documents were seized, but what's happening now with the case?
Well, the case is ongoing, and what is happening in court is this determination about what is covered by client-attorney privilege in terms of what was seized by federal investigators in that April 9th warrant, or the warrants that were delivered in that April 9th seizure of evidence. Investigators seized about more than 3 million items. And so a special master is going through these items with the legal teams that include President Trump's attorneys, the Trump Organization attorneys, and Michael Cohen's attorneys, and the government to determine what is covered by client-attorney privilege. Now, in the first batch of items that was examined, the special master has come back and said, you know, about 100 items are covered by attorney-client privilege. And so if that is the case, this is something, a legal strategy that is not working out in Michael Cohen's favor. And so that's what's happening right now. But even though this case has not been in the headlines over the last couple of weeks, you know, when I'm in New York and you see people on the street, you mention Michael Cohen's name and they know who he is. So this is a high-profile case. This is someone who has been close to the president over the years. And so what he decides going forward is important, not only to his case, but perhaps to the overall Russia investigation.
And Jeff, so just so our viewers understand, when you say that Michael Cohen tells you that he's under tremendous pressure, the pressure is whether or not to fight what prosecutors are alleging or to cooperate with the authorities. And cooperating with the authorities is, I mean, because if he doesn't, then the chances that if he loses in the fight, he'll go to jail for a very long time.
Well, and that is what's at stake here. And obviously, you know, when you face this kind of scrutiny from investigators, you're going to naturally feel the weight of these accusations. Now, he has not been indicted or anything like that, but there are many in his circle who expect that he will at some point face charges. And so he is, and has told me over the last couple of months that, yes, he feels the scrutiny of these investigations. Now, it is still unclear whether that will translate into his cooperation. Of course, he has this long-time relationship with President Trump. They have developed that relationship through business dealings, and as I said, he's known in many circles as the president's fixer. But again, he has denied over and over again any wrongdoing in terms of the Russia investigation, any wrongdoing in terms of what is being investigated here in the case in the Southern District of New York, whether there was potential bank fraud violations. Over and over again in our conversations, he has denied any wrongdoing.
So, Jeff, it was the Mueller investigation and investigators working for Mueller that alerted authorities in New York that there might be a case here. Is there a possibility that if Cohen then cooperates, we could sort of see a bounce back where the Mueller investigation may have a renewed interest in Cohen?
Well, you can bet that this is the case in New York is one that the Mueller investigators are following closely. As you noted, this was a case that was referred to the Southern District of New York by the special counsel's office. The question is, will the two cases merge, essentially? And that is something that obviously people close to Michael Cohen are concerned about. And so that's what we're following as well. But again, you know, in terms of what is happening today, the question is his legal strategy changing? Because if it is, well, that could pose problems for people who are caught up in this Russia investigation as well.
All right, Jeff Pegues breaking the news for us here at CBS News. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.